All right, hello, welcome to Jay's Bass Channel, and today we've just picked up this Vintera II Telecaster bass, and this is a fairly new offering from Fender. And what we have here is a Mexican-made replica of a bass that had a kind of a short lifespan in the 70s. I think maybe you would see these things maybe around 1972, 1973, something like that. Originally, these were precision basses, the first precision basses back in the late 50s. They had a single coil pickup here. So in the 70s, for some reason, they decided to make this version of the precision bass. And basically at that point, the new precisions had come out, so they had to call these the Telecaster bass. So the Telecaster bass of latter day is the same as like the 59 or so precision basses. But the real oddball thing about this bass is the mudbucker pickup, which is a very high output pickup situated right next to the neck. So let's go over a handful of things that are really different about this bass than a standard Fender bass. You'll notice there's a really strange bridge, and this bridge is very minimal, and it gives you very minimal opportunity to adjust the string saddles individually. So it was later replaced with this style of bridge, which is what we're more accustomed to these days, where you have individual saddles for each. This bass only has 2 saddles, and something about this really lightweight, kind of cheaply done thing seems to give the bass a certain tone. Another thing about these basses is got a plank body. You see it's just a flat top and a flat bottom, like a Telecaster guitar. So that's what you call a plank body, and there's no relief, meaning your arm kind of hits it there, but that's also somewhat desirable for especially vintage sort of people. Another thing you got here is a very, very fat neck. I don't think there's anything to really show you how fat the neck is, but with Fender basses, you have your jazz bass that we just saw, and that is the slimmest neck. And then you have the precision bass, which is your medium neck, and this is your thick neck. The thick neck can be a lot of fun, though. I like this neck. It's a very well done version of the old neck. I actually own a 68 Telecaster bass, and this really feels a lot like this in a very good way. So I like the neck. So it's fat. The frets are not really big, but they're not tiny either. They're good sized frets. Obviously, you don't want a bass with very small frets, because then it's, to me, a little harder to play. We have fairly robust tuning machines. You see I have not even taken the plastic off of these things yet. I guess I'll have to do this sooner or later, but it came with plastic on these so they don't tarnish. This thing just came out of the box a few days ago. As you can see, it still has the stickers. I've been playing it just a little bit, and it's starting to make the plastic on here want to peel off. So sometime in the next week or two, I'll just pull all these stickers off. So I guess the two main things you'll notice about this bass is the size of the neck and the tone of this pickup. I guess you could hear me play earlier. It's got a very old-timey kind of sound. Almost reminds me of something you'd hear off an old Woodstock recording or something. It's got a very strange, raw sort of sound. And that is definitely most due to the pickup being situated up here. Basically, with bass pickups, the further up the neck, the bassier it's going to be. The further toward the bridge, the treblier or mid-rangier the pickup will be. So this is going to be your most bassy one. So you can see, even with all the knobs full up and with fairly new round wound strings, it's kind of a little woolly sounding, a little bit actually raunchy. So this is definitely not what you would call a bass that is going to be good for like a jazz gig or something like this. This is a bass for somebody that wants to look and sound different. It's a cool bass, but obviously it's not as practical as something like a Precision. Precision is probably one of your most practical basses, and jazz basses are fairly practical. This one is just really cool looking. When people come in and see this, they say, wow, where did you get that? Another thing that's different about this bass is they tried to really go a lot closer to vintage spec on it, and the contour of the neck feels much more rounded on the edges, and that reminds me of the feel of a 60s or 70s instrument. So if you really like the feel of vintage instruments, which I do, all of my basses are typically from the 70s, I feel very at home on this bass. And that's another thing that, you know, people were looking for. I guess the name Vintera, maybe that means vintage or something. It's called the 70s Telecaster Bass, is the official name on the little sticker here. So, you know, if you were going to do, you know, trying to do some kind of popping and slapping sort of thing, it's a real odd bass to try that on. I guess, you know, the first time I recall seeing these basses, you know, maybe ZZ Top or the New York Dolls were using these things back in the 70s, and I thought they looked really cool. But I'll have to say that I really like this bass. One other comment I'll make about it is the body is very, very light. It could be a little big, like it might want to get a little bit of neck dive on it, but I have a very cheap strap on it right now. It's a nylon strap, and these things are really no good. If I had a wide leather strap, I don't think that the bass would really want to slide down like that at all. So I don't really think the neck dive issue is going to be much of a problem. So I guess I'm really considering keeping this bass. I don't know yet. As the bass channel progresses, I'm going to probably have to move some of these basses along because I can't afford to own all of them. But this is a really cool bass. I really wanted this. I kind of joked that I wanted it for my birthday, so I've got it for my birthday, but also for the bass channel. So another thing I noticed with this and the other really recent bass I got, as you can see, very good sustain. The notes sing out. Well, one pet peeve I have about basses, I don't like to play a bass that sings out and has good action and tone here, but then you slide up the neck and it doesn't. But this bass has good tone everywhere on the neck. You can play a high note here. One thing I noticed about this bass, though, obviously where you pick the bass or where you play the bass is going to affect the tonality. So you'll notice something. I would typically play around here. But if you want to give it a kind of a weird mid-range sound, you can play back here. And it gets really bassy up there. And I play this bass with a band, and I noticed that really you almost need a bigger amp than I'm accustomed to with the Precision, because this thing has a very deep, big low end, and it takes a fairly powerful amp to really make this thing go. So if you want to go and play with a real small amp, this is not a good bass for that. If you want to rock a massive low end on a big stage, this bass can definitely give you a massive deep low end. Other things to note is the pickup is way hotter on the output. I had to turn the input down around 10 dB to match the output of my other basses. So this is a super hot output bass. It's definitely got a woolly sound and a huge deep low end. It does not have the cut or snap of a Precision or the Jazz. But if you're looking for something that'll turn heads, this is definitely it. Another cool thing is they actually went back with something that goes back to the 70s. It's the old 3-bolt neck plate. You can also see that this is a string through body setup. That's kind of nice. I didn't even know that that was how this was going to come, but I guess with a bridge like this, there's no way to not have the strings go through the body. So once again, we have the Fender Vintera II series 70s Telecaster bass, as it says on the sticker here, and hopefully you enjoyed the video about it. And if you please give us some comments if you got some more questions about it, or just have any questions or anything you want to talk about in the comments, that would be great. Anything you guys want to add about these basses. And thanks again for watching Jay's Bass channel. And don't forget to follow us. We got a lot of cool new videos coming out with more basses and just more bass info. So thanks again for watching. Share this with your friends and give us a follow. Thanks.